And this is the wiring diagram, basically. So we've got 10 wires to connect. And you got resistors.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Resistors? Nah, never need them.
Got little tags it in.
Never needed no resistors.
What's your last name, Mike?
John, J-U-N-G.
Okay.
Is that thing kind of like a kit, or you just put all the stuff in a box?
I picked it up as a kit, and I threw some other stuff in it.
Oh,
I mean, it came with a little remote, a couple little gizmos.
yeah.
How
Price
much?
was right on it.
How much was your kit?
Oh, it might have been $25 or something like that. And it came with an Arduino board and a battery pack and a bunch of little miscellaneous stuff that you gotta have. And it's like, what the heck.
Okay, so we got, for next time, we'll target the getting those pins soldered.
All right.
You do, you don't, you don't. That's the way we hang.
Can't wait till I retire and I got time to do stuff.
Retire? What are you talking about?
Bearings down my car, so it's like, okay, let's pull that apart and fix that.
And how did I get all that stuff in there like that?
Very, very carefully.
I knew rigid
I'll go
box.
follow the tutorial then and give me some solder in.
Yeah, I solder the 10 leads onto that,
Yeah.
and then the next time we can plug those into the breadboard, maybe. But get the soldering on those, and you can see what the 10 leads, which 10 leads need it. I sent you a link,
Okay.
and just pull that link up, and we're good to go. Okay, it's official start time of the club, and you already shown your orange pie.
I showed an orange pie.
Okay, and I seen your, what is it?
Did you want to see that? It's a
Pi.
Raspberry Pi 3.
Raspberry Pi 3.
32 or 64-bit processor instead of 32. A little bit faster. It's 1.2 gigahertz instead of
1.2 gigahertz, yeah.
And
Quad core.
I wanted to use that to put my iSpy video monitoring stuff on it, but he pointed out that he's not sure it runs on another platform besides Windows, and it looks like you may be right. There's some other iSpy stuff, but it's different stuff.
It's different stuff.
So, memory card slot though.
It's on the bottom.
On the back side, on the other side, right there. You take the micro SD card and
Okay.
stick it in there, and they'll
They gotta
hold
have
up
some stuff
64
like that on
gigabytes
Unix,
on
though.
that. And,
Yeah, you're
Video
gonna have
monitor?
to like.
Yeah.
I don't think it does the same.
It's $35.
I don't
same
think it
price
works the same way
as the
what
older
yours
one.
does.
And I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
see how they can afford to do that. but-
Wi-Fi video cam.
You got two HDMI
Yeah, see,
outputs on that? Or?
That's a lot closer to what
No,
the
one-
2 is. Or the A is.
HDMI and 4 USB,
Oh, okay.
and
Is that the same size as the 2?
yes, it is.
It
That's what the guy
looks-
told me. I said about cases, and he said, yeah, the old case would work.
It looks bigger.
Is that thing going to be fast enough to do video?
Oh, they use the old ones for doing streaming.
Video
Plug them into
stream?
the HDMI port on your TV, and you can stream. Or media players. They use them for media players. So you shouldn't have a problem. It's just
It's got to do the Wi-Fi, and it's going to have. It's running about. It can run 25 megabits through the Wi-Fi port. I tune them down a little bit. I pull about 10 megabits, and I say it's okay.
I don't think you'd have a problem getting the video into it. the software.
Oh,
It's
it's got a connection. Is it a 100 megabit connection on it? RJ45? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
That'll work just fine.
But if you don't have the right, if you don't have the similar software available, it's not really going to work for what you're using your iSpy for right now.
Well, this thing is used for 400 or 500 different Wi-Fi devices, and not just the Foscam. I mean, there are tons of them. And in fact, I used another version, free, that was similar. But if they don't have any open source, I'd be shocked, because it's becoming pretty popular. That's 2 different free versions are floating out there, 2 different softwares. Okay, that's a good lead for me. And what about running it on the Orange Pi?
Same problem.
If there's software, you could run it?
I don't see why not.
If it's open source, is there enough variation in product that they would run? If I found one, would it generally run on both of them?
Well, if you're running Debian on this and you're running Debian on that, it's pretty much the same operating system.
Okay.
The source
hardware interface or similar?
I think the processor that's on this board and the processor that's on that board are the same processor, or at least on the previous generation are the same processor, which means that pretty much if it's been compiled for one, it should work on the other. But if this is running a different processor, you may have to recompile the software. Maybe.
Okay, so Mike's started phase 1 of the I2C, not I2C, the 1602 LCD display project. We're working on that. Oh, a couple of things I ran into this week. The DIY water softener. I found, now this is the problem with this. I need to do the other Chromecast. Let's see, I need to do the screen. Stop casting. Okay. And now I'm going to start casting, options. And what was it?
Click on the. There's.
Oh, the little down, pull down.
Click on the little down.
Pull down.
Thingy.
Yeah. Screen experimental. It says experimental on mine.
Mine doesn't.
Okay.
Mine still says experimental, but mine's not the beta copy.
Should be okay, maybe.
It works. It's a little sluggish.
Does my Chromecast, I have a Chromecast that number pops up on, but the PIN number doesn't pop up on. How come your PIN number shows up on that screen?
Because I've got guest mode enabled. If I turn guest mode off, then
Oh, okay.
there won't be a PIN number.
Google Cast is sharing your screen. Oh, okay.
Yes, it is. It's sharing the screen.
Okay, now we're good. This is the entire screen here. This is amazing. So I ran into a little NE555 circuit that looks like water softener. The little water softener kit that I bought for $150. I said, how does that work? and I found a circuit for it. I need to look at my screen. And it looks like this is it. And with the little $150 water softener, you get 2 pieces of wire, and you wrap it around your copper pipe, and that's it. Look at that, Leroy. You recognize anything here? That $150 box and power supply that I got has probably got that in it. And that is a replacement for water softeners. It doesn't soften your water. What it does is it keeps your calcium line suspended in the water. When it comes out, it's suspended in water and it won't leach out.
Huh.
So all the calcium deposits you see everywhere, it stops that. They use these, they developed this for industry to stop having buildup of calcium deposits. They didn't care if the water was soft. They didn't want calcium buildup on everything. And this is a solution, an Ne555. Bummer.
Now my water softener sticks sodium ions in where the calcium was, and that screws up my coffee pot a little bit.
Mhm.
The sodium makes a kind of a red deposit or something.
I get that red deposit too. Have you got, and that's something new. Have you
I
got-
think that's from the sodium.
No, I don't have a water softener, and I get
Oh.
that.
I've seen that in places too without water softeners. You have just red. Yeah, red deposit.
Hard water.
Oh, I thought it
I
was,
can't figure out what
I
mineral
don't
that
know
was.
what-
But he's got a water softener.
I got a water
Oh.
softener, but
So he's got soft water.
So we need to, that's something we need to investigate too. What is that red bathtub ring that we're getting around, right near the drain?
yeah.
Fluoride.
That could be fluoride because we're fluorinating our water. It's fluorinated. They must be using a different process because I've never seen it before. It just started. So anyhow, I got a link to this. So now you can roll your own water softener. It's not really a softener though. It just keeps the calcium in suspension until it's able to get out of your.
And what does that put a high frequency thing into the little coils? And
Ne555 is just an oscillator, so I think it's like 15 cycles. And it does make a big difference. I mean, since you would say it's crap, but it isn't.
It almost sort of looks like it's magnetic.
It is. You're putting a coil around, that's putting a coil around the pipe.
How does that work?
wait a minute. Magnetic has to have current flowing through there,
Yeah.
and that with your one wire
Oh, yeah.
doesn't do anything.
I think that may
That
be
looks like a
misleading.
capacitive.
I think for copper you tie them together, and for plastic you go to the ground or something. I don't know if it's open or not.
Okay.
So I think there's.
you've got to go to the ground. How does that work?
Well, before this, the guy across the street from me said, I don't have a water softener, but I've got a magnet. That was probably the predecessor to this guy.
What model is that, by the way? Oh, sorry. Oh, okay, yeah.
Hard water is calcium carbonate, and the exchanger in my thing changes that for sodium carbonate,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
the calcium is washed
Out of the
out
system
with a
backwash.
backflush once a week or something.
Okay.
I still don't understand how that thing works.
Well, the calcium's still in there. Okay. This is all I know. The calcium's still in there. It just won't come out of solution. When it goes, like normally, when it comes out around your spray nozzle, it comes out of suspension and gathers around your nozzle. Well, this helps it, probably pushes it up a level. The free valence, the one that's on the end that catches on to everything, it probably pushes it up a level and it's no longer can catch on to anything. So it goes down the drain. Instead of coming out, it goes down the drain. It doesn't come out of solution. Now what they do say is for hot water, if you put it on the intake of your hot water tank, you know, it may not do so good because it only lasts so long. If it sits in the hot water tank too long, it'll come out of suspension. I haven't seen that. Mine works fine. Mine's on the input to the hot water heater and everything. So it keeps it from coming out of solution. It really does. So I don't have the calcium buildup. And this is what you get for $150.
You want to know what the red is? You're not going to like what the red is.
What's the red?
It's bacteria.
Oh, that's good.
Oh.
So
That's what goes in my coffee. That's
Well, why do we have bacteria in our?
I have no idea, but
Why did you do that, Leroy?
I said you wouldn't like.
I'm gonna turn you over.
Your coffee maker is disinfected, you know. Getting up to boiling point.
It says there may be something else that's red.
My sister in Baton Rouge noticed it. So this is something that's happening everywhere. That's a new chemical thing that's going on, chemical treatment or something.
It's Obama water.
So Obama water, they're killing
Must
us.
be it.
That's it. I believe it.
Okay, so that's one thing I ran across this week. So if you want to do your own water softener, I got any 555s, just let me know.
okay.
And it's easy. And I was suspicious when I had to wrap my own pipe. You know, I said, this is kind of, and they weren't very picky about how you wrapped it. But I put it on there.
But you don't hook the other end of the wire anyplace. You just
I don't recall. I did see one at the Home and Garden Show this weekend, and guess what? They had 2 wire nuts on the end of it. I do know that it's different if it's plastic, okay, and then copper. So, and they do want you to wind it in the same direction. Both of them should go in the same direction. That's all, and I know it works. I'm a living example, and you guys know how normal I am. So to speak.
Google also says that the red is just rust.
Well, that's a better story. I think we'll stick with that one.
Think it's better that we're drinking rust than bacteria?
Yeah, that makes me feel better. You're off the hook this time.
I don't know which is better, rust or bacteria.
I don't know. Given that dosage, so.
Okay, we have another article in our meeting announcements. And this is the circuit up there. And what I did was I bought a doorbell, a wireless doorbell, battery operated. And this, in the transmitter part, it's got a little fob that you push to ring the doorbell, and you can mount it on your wall, and that's cool. It has a battery in it, a 12-volt battery. And what I did was I took a spacer and put it on the positive part of the battery. And so the battery couldn't touch it. Then I took a wire and touched it to the battery. So there's a wire sticking under the battery side, and then there's a wire sticking on the connector side, where the battery was touching. So I disconnected the battery effectively and run it through this wire. So where does the wire go? Well, a positive lead goes out and goes through a capacitor and through a resistor to a reed switch, and then comes back and goes to the connector. So what I did was, when this reed switch is on, when the magnet comes down, when you flip the thing, the magnet touches the reed switch and turns it on. There we go. So who knows what the batteries, what the capacitor's for, except Leroy? Leroy, do you remember? Who knows what the capacitor is for?
Some kind of time constant
Yeah.
between those two.
Yeah.
I can't read the numbers that well. 470, does that say 470K?
470 MFD.
470 microfarads and 470K.
Okay, you multiply those two together, and that's a half.
I don't remember the equation, but yeah, there's a time constant going on there. What? Any idea what it's for?
It just, instead of, maybe there would be a bounce or something like that with that reed switch. Reed switches don't, sometimes,
Yeah, you're going to get bounced like
yeah,
that. But
so
that's not what it's
that'll
for.
be an anti-bounce sort
Yeah,
of
it's
thing for the reed
anti-bounce, that's
switch.
for sure. Big time. But what else is it for? It's what happens sometimes is the mailman fails to close the door tightly on my mailbox. So it could, sometimes I come out there and it's open. Guess what happens if it's left open? Okay, what I've done is I've got a capacitor up there in series with it, and it's basically acting like a very weak battery. So when and it's got a resistor across it, a capacitor with a resistor across it. What does that mean? It means if nobody's putting any voltage on it, it's going to discharge that capacitor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the voltage across that capacitor when it's discharged? 0. So it's sitting there, as long as that reed switch is not connected, and which is most of the time, the voltage across that capacitor is going to slowly discharge through that capacitor, and the voltage will eventually go to 0, probably after 10, 15, 20 seconds or so. The voltage will go to 0. Okay, so the voltage drop across that capacitor is 0 initially. We all agree on that? Because it's going to...
There's something bothers me. I don't see the negative end of that battery doesn't seem to go anywhere.
Oh yeah, it's connected to the, there's a circuit in here. Okay, so you can assume the battery, this negative, it's got a negative connector, and it's connected to the circuit. And see, the other battery, this battery connector is connected to the circuit.
Yeah.
This other one's connected to the circuit already, you just don't see it.
Oh.
So the battery is connected to the circuit, the negative side is connected to the circuit, the transmit circuit. And here is the positive side of the circuit. Okay?
Okay.
So if the voltage here is 0, most of the time, and there's nothing to charge it up because the battery effectively is not connected. Okay? When you connect the battery through the reed switch, then the positive comes up to here, and what's the voltage drop across here? Initially, the voltage drop is 0, right? If that is discharge, the voltage is going to be 0, so there'll be no voltage drop across here. And guess what? So your 12 volts is going to show up here, and then your 12 volts will show up here initially because the voltage drop across the battery is 0. And so guess what? It's going to connect the battery up. And what's going to happen is when that circuit is conducting, it's going to start charging the battery up because you have current flow through it. Everybody see that? First of all, the voltage drop, we can go the other way, where it's going from positive through the capacitor, through the reed switch. So this is a series circuit. We got a capacitor in series with the reed switch, in series with the circuit. Okay, so the resistor discharges the capacitor. When it's not connected to the battery, it's going to discharge it. So the first state is the capacitor voltage drop across it is 0, right? Then when current starts flowing through it, guess what? It starts charging up the battery, the capacitor. Now what happens when the capacitor is fully charged? Well, you're going to have 12 volts across the capacitor. What's the voltage going to be across the device? 0. Let's see if we got a marker. I need to simplify that. Do a block diagram. I try to stay away from the pink one, give you guys a break.
No, we need more rust.
Okay, so this is what we got. We got a capacitor. And we got a switch. And we got the circuit. And across the capacitor, we got a resistor. That's what we got. Everybody see that? Circuit with a T. Okay.
Okay.
If this is not connected, what's the voltage of this capacitor going to be?
0.
0 volts. What's the voltage across the circuit going to be?
0
That
volts.
closed, it's going to be 0.
Yeah.
So it's 0 volts and 0 volts.
And the current flow will be 0.
And the current flow will be 0.
It ain't doing nothing.
And you're doing nothing. The battery is 12 volts. All right, now, 100 microseconds after we close the switch, what's the voltage here? 100 microseconds, the voltage is still going to be awful close to 0 because we just connected the battery. Do you see that?
I don't think so. What's the circuit? I don't understand what the square box that's called the circuit.
This is a transmitter. It's the button that you have at your door. This is a wireless one. This is the button that you have for your doorbell. It's sitting at your front door. You push it, it transmits power. For all practical purposes, it looks like a resistor. It's a load. Okay. So if the transmitter or resistor, you know what I'm talking about, the transmitter.
Yeah.
Just a remote fob. You push it, it comes on. And when you get it, the transmitter looks like this. Okay, and it's got a little button on the front on it, built into it, like this. That's okay. So you push the button, and it applies power to the transmitter. That's all. That's what you get. That's what a remote fob looks like. This one's very brain dead. You turn it on, it transmits, and the doorbell goes bing bing. Okay. So when you're applying, this is 12 volts. When the switch is open, what's the voltage across the transmitter? 0 volts, because we got an open circuit here. If you push the button on the front of it, then you've got 12 volts across your battery still, and at that point you have 12 volts over here.
Somewhere close to 12 volts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're 12 volt. Somewhere near 12 volts. You'll pay. Okay. So now
Somewhere close to 12 volts.
I've taken this switch and I turned it on. I put a little tape around it and this piece of styrofoam and it's locked on.
Okay.
So this switch you can ignore. It doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
So now, between here and here, I added 2 things. A capacitor and a switch.
Okay.
And we know how this works. If this switch is open, what's the voltage on that? It doesn't matter what the rest of the circuit is. If that switch is open, no current's going to flow.
That's right. Okay.
So the voltage has to be 0. 0 volts, 0 amps. And we got 0 volts over this. And if there ever was a voltage on this, it's pulled down to 0 by this resistor.
Okay. And as soon as you close the switch, the capacitor will have maximum voltage across that.
No, as soon as you close, well, let's talk about it. This is effectively a resistor, so it's not going to go to maximum voltage immediately. Take it a while to come up. It's going. But let's talk about this. First of all, this we agree this is going to be 0 volts, 0 amps, 0 volts, 0 amps, all the way across. Now, to charge this guy up through this resistor takes approximately, to charge this up takes about 2 seconds. Okay?
Okay.
So, 2 seconds, we're going to have 12 volts across this capacitor. We can charge it up, and basically what we're seeing here remember, it's just this is just a resistor, like that. That's the circuit. How long does it take this circuit? How much current can you put through here? How long does it take it to charge up that capacitor? I'm telling you, it takes 2 seconds, about.
Okay.
And we're assuming this transmitter just like a resistor, really. For all practical purposes, it's a resistor. Okay, so I said in 2 seconds, this will have 12 volts on it. In 0.1 seconds, what do you think the voltage is on this guy? 2 seconds is going to be 12 volts. At 0.1 seconds, what's it going to be? It's going to be very low.
Almost nothing.
Almost nothing. Here's a circuit, and then what if I take a switch right here? This is okay, and it takes 2 seconds to charge this to 12 volts in 2 seconds. Okay, what's the voltage going to be in 1 second? All we know is it's not going to be 12 volts. We know it's not going to be 12 volts because it takes 2 seconds. If you close this switch, this charges in 2 seconds to 12 volts. Okay? Okay. And we know in 1 second, it's going to be 6 volts. Everybody here knows that's a lie. Okay. Ish.
6 volts.
There's a formula for this. But we know it's not going to be 12 volts because it takes 2 seconds. 1 second is going to be less than 12 volts. Right? Because we're going to be charging this capacitor up through this resistor. When we turn this on, it's going to start charging that capacitor up through 12 volts. Okay. Yeah, you think about this. It'll come to you. This is a good thing to know. This little stupid thing is a good thing to know. It's not very intuitive, so that's the thing. But anyhow, in 0.1 seconds, when we just turn it on, the current's going to flow through this resistor, basically, because that's what the transmitter is. When we turn this on, the current's going to flow through here, and it's going to start charging up the capacitor. In 2 seconds, the voltage here is going to be 12 volts. Okay? So if you got in a series circuit, the sum of the voltages have to equal. Okay? So what does that mean? Well, that means if the voltage here is 0 volts, and this is a series circuit, the voltage here has to be 12 volts. Has to be. So when we first turn this thing on and the voltage here is 0, this has to be 12 volts. Guess what? That turns my transmitter on. Okay? And then in 12 seconds, I told you that we're going to have 12 volts here. This is going to be fully charged. Well, what does that mean? How much volts we got left over? None. 0 volts. Guess what? My transmitter just went off. And that's what I wanted it to do.
Yeah, okay.
In case somebody left the door open. So, okay, that's the theory behind this circuit. And a lot of this was lies, but necessary to our exaggerations. They're exaggerations, but, you know, for the most part, you get the concept. This is really what's going on. Once this capacitor charges up, there's no longer any voltage on this transmitter. And then, to make sure that one thing about capacitors is, it's like a battery, you charge it up. Guess what? It can stay charged. If there's no load on it, it will stay charged. So then I put a 470k ohm resistor there to discharge it when it's disconnected. Now there is a little current, but 470,000 ohms at 12 volts is not a lot of current. So I had to pay for that circuit. I paid a little bit for that circuit. But it's very simple. I could have used any 555 in there and got away with it, maybe saved a little current. But this, so far, for 4 days, has been working.
It hasn't been bugging you with
Nope, no false alarms. The little thing was $14 and rated 300 feet. And it has a motion detector and a flashlight. So you can do this too at your house and it plays old Ben, what is it? The British clock, Ben.
Big Ben.
Big Ben. It plays a Big Ben tune to differentiate it from the doorbell.
The next thing you need to do is have it send you a message to your phone, so you know there's mail whenever you
Get around to it.
far away.
Yeah. Okay, Frank was looking at Uno. I hope we didn't scare Frank away. Maybe he'll still show up.
I don't have anything. I didn't bring anything.
Okay. Yeah, well, I did.
You did.
And you got it working, so we can talk about that to anyone who may not have caught the original deal. You want to talk about that?
Wow. I think everybody knows, sort of.
Everybody knows now?
Sort of, but whatever.
We can go through it for the video.
Do what?
We can go through it for the video.
Oh. Okay.
Probably a good idea.
That little deal right there is a Roswell, oh, can't see it, Roswell RNXTRT 150 travel router. And that little deal over there on that wall is my Chromecast. And I've got the Chromecast, oh, wait, what's going on? I've got the Chromecast connected to the router, and all three of us here that have laptops right now, plus you that have a cell phone, are connected to the router, and now we have the ability to cast.
Okay, so we're all connected. When we came in, you brought the portable router in.
I brought a portable router in.
And he told us what the address was, and we went and all the people in here connected to the router with our PC or phone.
And now that we know that it works, I will change its weird.
Now let's go through the entire
generic menu
series for our audience, our listening audience. So we all connected to this router, this portable router, and the router is plugged into the RJ45 to the library network. So all of us can get to the internet through this portable router. And so he also connected the Chromecast
to the router.
To that router? To the portable router. So the Chromecast connected to the portable router, and all of us connected to the portable router. And the Chromecast box is plugged into the HDMI cable going to our TV, which is working great. And last week...
You know what I just thought of? Another benefit to this? If we had to share files between each other, we could all do it. We open a network file share up.
Okay, we could do the cloud too.
Well, that would be, yeah. But if we just wanted to rapidly send you a file, we could just do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of weird benefits to doing this.
Okay, and now if you look at the the Chrome software, Leroy discovered last week when I was crabbing about doing whole screen displays, because we kind of tried this last week. Previously, Chromecast only supported a single tab in the Chrome browser. And Leroy discovered that the Chromecast app now allows you to share the entire screen. And it looks like it's experimental, but it seems to work fine. They warned you about changing your display, but we haven't had any trouble with it recently, currently. So it looks nice. Now, for our purposes, when you can show your entire screen, you can demo your software, and
That's my screen.
okay.
And oh, of course not. Of course, it's not going to show the little arrow thing that you have to click on. There's a little arrow thing right here that you click on and tell it that you want to cast the entire screen.
It's a pull down in the right top of the Chromecast box.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. So it's right there where it says cast entire screen.
Experimental, but so far it's been reliable.
It's sluggish.
It's a little slow, it is, but it's doing a lot of work. But very, very useful. If you were using it to try to program with from your laptop, probably not so nice. But for our purposes, it's great.
Yeah.
So I apparently, because I am the owner of the Chromecast, I apparently have control over being able to stop people from casting. So if you want to cast something naughty, I can just go click.
And then the way he did that was, he told us earlier that setting up the Chromecast, he made it public?
Guest.
Guest. Okay.
Guest mode.
There's an option to make it guest, and he made it guest, which allowed anyone to connect. Normally, it's just you.
As long as you're connected through this router, you should be able to cast.
Okay.
Is that related to the PIN number 4321 that you have to set?
It has never, ever asked any of us for any PIN number. So, but yes, I think that is related to being set as guest. So somehow, whatever the software does, it just knows it. Are you going to try to cast?
Well, I can see your RNX on here,
Uh-huh.
and then my networks. I was trying to remember how my Chromecast at home. I thought if I was on like YouTube, it showed as one of the
Yeah.
options, but I'm not seeing that.
It depends.
Are you on my network?
No.
You need to be connected to
Yeah,
my
the
network.
network's connected to that. Okay.
The thing you want to be careful of, don't accidentally Chromecast. I've had it. This is funny. So one of our I think it's one of our sales people has a smart TV for a monitor, and I think it had a Chromecast connected to it for like some purpose, and it's like, why is this turning on my screen? Turns out the conference next door was Chromecast.
Well, I think because we have to connect to this router in order to even be able to cast, I think that's going to solve just random people connecting to us. But I'm also thinking that I may actually end up renaming this router and put a little password on it or something simple.
Exactly. All right.
Just something stupid
Yep.
for us. Just to keep
And display it on the default screen.
just to keep the people out.
Yep.
Just
Did anybody else hear about Bluetooth wireless mice
yes.
being able to be
Hacked.
hacked? Yeah.
Was it Bluetooth? Real Bluetooth? Eee.
Yes.
We knew the-
Welcome our security expert. What do you think about the Bluetooth
Probably.
mice being hackable?
I haven't looked into it. Probably possible.
We knew the Microsoft keyboard had been hacked.
The
Wireless keyboard.
You can do it over Bluetooth, and you can do it over those wireless keyboards. And there's a bunch of them. There was a whole list of manufacturers of keyboards and mice to a board.
I think I read that in the Raspberry Pi thing. Is that where you read it?
I think that's where I saw it at, but I went and dug a little bit more into it. You want to try to cast something just for the sake of?
Oh, shoot.
Don't cast anything bad.
No.
Basically, being able to do this with the casting, if you brought a laptop in, you had Chrome installed and the Chromecast extension installed, we could do presentations just no wires. Look, there's no wires left.
There's a Chromecast application that you, depending on what you're running there, a Chromecast application you can download to send stuff from YouTube to it.
Yeah, that's always appears in the upper right-hand corner, that little square box with a couple of circles.
If you're running Chrome.
Yeah. Oh, you mean you can do it without it?
Yeah, there's a Chromecast app.
Yeah, right now I'm just thinking and thinking.
We got him scared. You got him scared.
I do have them scared.
No, it's just spinning.
It's just thinking?
Yeah.
Oh.
It says it's connected, but when I go to a site, it just says that.
It may be slow, that's true.
And maybe something that we need to consider, because I don't think the Linksys router I was using, we had a bunch of people connected to it. I don't know how many people can actually connect to this little tiny travel router.
Remember, we're going through the library, so the library is a bit slow, so inherently it's slow.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed anything.
I haven't noticed any slow.
I thought you were not going through the library's router.
No, we're not.
We're going to that router, but that router to get to
But
the
the
internet, we're
Ethernet-
going through the library router.
The Ethernet connection is still through the library.
Oh, okay.
And last week it was really slow. But this week I haven't really noticed any.
My original connection was a little slow, but it could be that guy too. But I think last week, the connection, the initial connection, we may not have noticed it. I think it's been better, actually.
Yeah, this week it just seems to be all right. So I need to do some more digging here, though, because unless more people have questions about that, I found there may be a way to run Windows 7 on a Raspberry Pi.
Windows 7 on the Raspberry Pi. Ooh.
I'm going to have to do some more digging.
But Windows 7 is
Yes.
written in,
Yes.
a different code than you have for the processor.
It's not compiled for. That's why I said I may have to do some more digging. It doesn't really tell how they did it, but it says there's something called Zen Desktop, and it's a remote desktop for running Windows 7. So it almost sounds like you've still got to have Windows 7 running somewhere else, and you can clone the desktop.
Yeah, okay. Remote desktop to a Windows 7 PC.
So I'm going to do a little bit more digging, but I don't think there's any way to run Windows natively on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I got something I can show them. Let's see. Here we come again.
Apparently there is, well, not 7.
Share your screen.
There's an ARM version of Windows 10. That's coming. That's
It-
the same thing now.
It's not. I don't think that's the. I don't think it's a full desktop version either.
Okay, so here is my screen, and I'm going to go up to apps, and here is Chrome Remote Desktop. And there is the remote desktop. There is my list of PCs. And I'm selecting the Gale PC. And it's connecting.
You're going to freak people out if they're using their PC. Move the mouse around.
It's connecting. It's a little slower. It's a little slow to connect. It normally remembers that number on some of them. For some reason, this didn't remember it there. So it talked to it enough to know that I need a number to set up secure communication.
Yeah, it looks like it's being very sluggish now.
For some reason. Remember, we're going through the live.
I know.
But
I can only solve so many problems at once.
Yeah, well, you got a good dodge around a lot of the library issues. And that's good. That's going to solve a lot. Make your projects work sometimes.
I think it will help some of the projects.
Yeah.
Of course, the real benefit, I think, is going to be this Chromecasting thing. Maybe not.
La, 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 la. They may see how much traffic's coming off that guy.
Yeah, they might be throttling us.
But I looked at it earlier, a bit through Wi-Fi.
I don't know.
Let's see here.
But it did talk across there. This Chrome Remote Desktop is easy to use. I used it to get to Kenny's place, and then you just go in here and click, you see the share, click right there. If you want to share your screen with somebody, you click share, and it gives you a number, and you tell the number to the other guy that has Remote Desktop up, and you connect. And it's just that lane. You do have to add the Chrome Remote Desktop to the to your Chrome. Well, that's not going anywhere fast.
Hang on, let me try something real quick. And gone. Well,
Did you want to?
no chance of help.
I'm going to cancel.
Shot.
Connection to that blue box up there, right?
I am not casting anything right now. Wow, our connection speed is like fantastic. So I don't know what the problem is.
Okay, I'm going to cancel this. I clicked.
Oh my gosh, our connection speed is phenomenal.
You dreaming?
95 megs
Wow.
download speed
Wow.
and almost 40 megs upload speed.
Wow. We have to start hanging out around here. Set up a living room out there.
Hang on, let's check.
Okay, I just.
That was me.
Okay.
I done did it.
Okay. Well, good. That was pretty dead. Anyway, this is like one of Leroy's.
There was a weird delay though. It was really fast, but it's got a weird delay.
Yeah,
whenever the initiates the connection.
there was a weird little. You're right. It unable to cast to this device. What?
We've got.
Start casting. Are you trying to cast as well?
No, I'm not trying to cast.
It's not casting my tab. I don't know why. I'm not in charge. I act like I know stuff. I don't know why it won't cast.
I can try.
Oh,
Connection stopped.
that's interesting.
Let's
I
try.
almost shut down on my. I was trying to cancel. It may not have exited properly. I'm gonna kill.
There
the
we go.
process.
Look at that. That is like a fantastic speed.
Speed up and see what you. Well, never mind. I just tried it. It was a little bit lower than that, but it was still fantastic. It was like 50. So no, it's not that.
Yeah,
the
there's
Chromecast. Is the Chromecast still on?
there's something strange going on if you're not able to connect. The ping time seems a little long.
Oh, that's very. Let me check something.
Well, now, two guys shouldn't be able to Chromecast at the same
Not
time.
at the same time.
At
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm not transmitting anything other than just the regular internet connection.
Now you see how slight. Well, you really don't, because it's pretty fast on my screen. But you saw the jittery of it. That's how sluggish.
The Chromecast is?
Yeah,
Huh. Interesting.
because it's went clear up and pegged, and it kind of jumped around on the screen. But yeah, okay, it dropped a little, but it's still fantastic. I mean, it's better than the house.
What was that noise? Was that come from my PC?
That was you.
That was you. That definitely was you.
That's weird.
So those are your Apple Watch.
Oh, you know what it is? You have sound with this too? You have sound when you're doing remote desktop? Do you have sound?
Should.
That's what it was. Oh, okay. I bet you that's what it was. I can't connect reliably through the remote desktop for whatever reason.
Remote desktop.
Yeah, Chrome remote
Google-
desktop.
Google's remote desktop.
It's this guy right here. Just an app.
Oh. Hmm.
And there's a list of all the PCs I can connect to.
In theory.
In theory, theoretically, I could connect to.
You know, I don't know what. Of course, you were doing it with the. No, you did it with your cell phone, and your cell phone was on the wireless data plan.
Okay.
I bet they've
Yeah.
got the port blocked so you can't get out.
Yeah.
What port is it?
It's probably 5900 or something. Whatever the remote desktop ports would be. VNC port maybe.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty sure the Chrome desktop works very much like VNC.
Let's see.
I'm just thinking out loud because it doesn't really make sense that it doesn't work.
And here it is.
And there it is.
Now, am I connected to the router? Let me check the router. Since they changed the router, I may not auto-connect.
We start doing a lot of weird pinging and stuff, though they'll shut us down.
Oh, Wi-Fi is turned off, maybe. No, Wi-Fi was on, just wasn't connected.
So you're connected through your data connection, not through the Wi-Fi.
Okay, let me go through the box. That's true. Ready? Where? Where? Okay, we know it's not going to connect. But we'll try it anyway. 'Cause that's the kind of guys we are. You have no computers.
You have no computers.
Actually, I got further than that, using
The desktop app, yeah. My guess is they just, from the library's network, they just don't want you to remote desktop to stuff.
Is remote desktop the outside or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know how you can set router rules up though. You can block incoming ports and you can block outgoing ports.
Yeah.
So if it tries to connect either way, you could just stop it. Done. So.
Let's see, where are you? That is.
One of the people who was doing some camera stuff had a similar issue, and we connected to the data plan on somebody's phone, and
Who's
it
104?
104.
Who's 104? Is that it? No, that's not it.
I don't know.
Let's see. MSRPC, Windows 6%, Microsoft, yes, no, but that's not it. I can't see the Chromecast.
You don't need to see it.
That's so weird.
They do have some nice pictures on Chromecast.
You mean that changing background that keeps changing up there? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
I did the Star Wars theme when they gave the Star Wars theme, and there were a bunch of behind the scene pictures of the original Star Wars. It was actually kind of cool. And then I got sad when they took that away.
Oh, that's a pretty picture.
Oh, it's a two-headed deer. It's six-legged.
Do they circulate those? Are those updated without reconnecting? Or does it stop on one?
No, I don't know.
I think it keeps sequencing around about every minute or something like that. I don't know how long it is.
Well,
Beat up some little kids.
you're going to go beat up some kids?
Yeah.
Well, be sure to play with your LCDs.
Oh, yeah.
Don't leave any fingerprints or anything. You got enough wires?
I've got wires at home, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Good deal.
I just because we're probably going to be moving. I've got a bunch of scooters and other motor parts. So if you know anybody that wants some of that stuff, I know.
I got rid of 2 scooters already. I had 3.
See, I would have been the one to take them, except that now we're moving to a smaller place, and my wife has pretty much said that there are certain things that we just can't take.
Yeah. Was she looking at you real close? Was she doing this number?
Yeah, well, I did.
Ray have a lot of storage space?
Do I?
Didn't Ray just buy a lot of buildings and have some space?
I don't know. You know, he did. He did buy some buildings.
I cannot see the Chromecast. Is it even active?
Not sure.
Well,
Let's see. All right, later.
Not responding.
Hey, what did you guys find out? I guess Jeremy is working on the Internet of Things security of how to keep people from accessing your computer when you put any Internet of Things to check your refrigerator or something like that.
I'm sure they can't get to your refrigerator. Yeah.
But, was that resolved? Or did you?
I'm still working on it.
it's still very complicated.
I got a lot further though. It's long.
That's
I can't see it. I think it's blocked in. I think it's being inhibited
I got
by
it.
something.
I don't think it's not really, can you ping a Chromecast from somewhere else? I didn't think you could ping them anyway.
Or at least I should be able to see something, listening something on something.
Yeah,
It's gotta
maybe.
initiate a connection to something.
There are people that were saying that you could submit shows to Chromecast
for
remotely.
88008. Oh, come on.
I've
Googling. Fine.
it would be neat if I could, but I don't know how to do it. I've never been able to do that.
You'd have to poke a port. You'd have to
8008.
put a port through your.
Unnecessarily.
How you gonna get through it?
Well, if it's connected, it's listening to something that Google's sending.
You're pointing at the router.
See, I don't know how you could.
the
I don't
Chrome-
know how you could send anything remotely to it because you have. I mean, we kind of proved it here. You have to be connected to my network to even see it.
8009.
Yeah.
Hey,
Even if I've got it open for guest usage, I don't know how you
You don't see it unless you're connected to that router.
to that router.
Okay. So it's broadcasting stuff, which is non-routable. So okay.
Well, let's look at that.
And I don't know how it really works because he can't see it. He's got the little network sniffer thingy and he can't see it.
I'm checking for those specific ports now and see if it pops up. Maybe it's something, I don't know what.
But you probably could see the IP address for it though, can't you?
I don't know which one it is. I know which IP addresses are up. I don't know which one it is.
Well, let's see. It was probably the third or fourth device
Let's see,
connected
I
to the
got
to that particular network.
Like there's 192.168.2. It's 2 stars, so there's a 100, a 103, a 104, which probably isn't it, 107, and 105, which is mine.
I'd say it's probably the 103.
Probably the 103.
It's just a guess.
Signature.
I see a 102.
Oh, wait, I found it. Wait, no, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't. 8008, 8009.
192, 168.21, 198, 192, 168.
I'm not getting
102.
anything listening on 8008 or 8009, except for my machine and the router, which that doesn't tell much of anything. Let's see. 103.
I didn't. I've got a little thing on my tablet that I can do port scanning, but I didn't bring it with.
2.168.103.
on mine, sometimes I click on Chromecast and it says which one you want to go to because I got two
I'm
Chromecast.
gonna try to Chromecast. Let's see what happens. I can do it because that's a separate thing. I got my virtual machine hooked up to a separate adapter. Let's see, Google Cast, and get the adapter real quick.
You gonna try to hijack the meeting from Jim?
Did you know that the older Chromecast has a bigger memory in it than brand new ones?
I didn't, but
It doesn't make any difference.
sometimes it doesn't pay to buy new stuff.
Yeah. But the new one has an extra band, besides the and the
5.1 gigahertz. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah.
Okay.
Are you able to cast?
It's still getting a plug-in.
Oh. pretty slow for such a fast network.
Edit to Chrome. Okay. Let's see what happens. Boop. And sure, why not? Chromecast 9508 tab. Cast. Wait, let's do the entire thing. Screen window. Cast. And no. Oh well. Wait, I am trying to cast now.
So you can't hijack his display.
No, because you got control of it, which makes sense.
So I can click on stop his display, and now you should be able to cast.
Going now.
That's you.
That's it.
So that's actually kind of handy to know too. I mean,
What is he doing?
he's just casting.
I just trying to figure out if I can.
He was trying to cast over top of you is what he was trying to do.
Okay. Which
Once
we've been
you-
able to do
we,
previously.
we did it once or twice, but if they fix that problem so that you can't do it, that's actually better.
Mhm.
Then we just need to say, I need to switch or whatever.
But if I cast YouTube to my TV set and I did it with my cell phone, I can unplug the cell phone, take the battery out, anything else I want to do. Once that path is established,
It's
so that's what I don't understand about the software, what has to happen inside of there. It has to hijack that.
Yeah, and like the Moto G, you can't do a screencast. It doesn't support it. The X does.
I can cast my entire screen, but it's real sluggish. It makes everything sluggish. It makes the phone sluggish.
And I can't. I can do a YouTube, say, send this to the screen, and I'm out of it.
Okay, I don't know. That works.
So
So there are a lot of ifs, ands, but does your PC, does your phone support it? The G does not. Our Model G doesn't. His X phone, Moto X, does. He can screencast, but it's a lot of work.
yeah, and it makes the whole entire screen. It makes everything. So I can cast my whole screen.
Interesting. That works pretty decently,
But-
actually.
Now everything is just sluggish.
You think it might be the router?
No. Casting the entire screen just makes it sluggish.
Well, yeah, it's quite a bit of video.
There's a lot of
It's probably going to depend on your resolution.
Do you have a lot of apps that end in cast also? I
No.
have,
I just have one.
oh, I have a bunch. And I don't know exactly what,
I do have the Roku app because I've got a Roku box at the house, but
oh, they're-
hey, I think I
Roku.
could control my Roku.
Interesting.
Now that would be bad. Can you get your Roku?
No.
Okay.
It's the same thing. I've got to be on the Wi-Fi at the
It makes
house.
sense to not let those go through your router. I'm sure they could do it, absolutely, and it would connect to it, but it's just not a good idea.
It's just not a good idea.
Because then you'd have everybody and his brother.
Well-
Well, Comet TV is available on the internet.
The what?
Comet TV is a local station. It's on Time Warner Cable. It shows Wi-Fi, some really bad Wi-Fi, and also some very entertaining Wi-Fi. Outer Limits, some of the old movies. It's a local station, news station. Comet TV, and also Grit is a local station. You can't get Grit on the internet so far, but you can get Comet.
yeah, I think I got Grit on like channel 43-4 or
Yeah, it's one of the sub
one of those,
channels.
yeah,
Yeah.
sub channels of it.
Oh, Comet TV looks like it would be cool.
Yeah. You'd go crazy. If you really like really, really, really bad sci-fi, ooh, it's heaven.
What is our topic?
Sir?
Oh, I just got reminded of this. Do you guys subscribe to any VPN service or not really?
Not me.
No?
Why? They got a free one somewhere?
Not free.
I used
You're using someone else's bandwidth.
yeah, I used a free one for a while, but a free one in quotes for a while and just kind of stopped.
Oh, there we go. Let's watch it live. Oh, look at that good stuff. That's the good stuff.
That's the stuff right there.
Good stuff.
I've been using,
I'll never move. I'll never leave the TV now.
I've been using AirVPN for the past like month or so, and
See if
it's
you
been
can
pretty
watch it.
good. Let's see. I at first I only just bought a month just to try it out, but it's been working so good. I just pay the $50
Oh, okay,
rest of
there
the
it
year. Yay!
I don't know if I even.
That's previews, I think.
I mostly use it for coffee shop Wi-Fi,
Yeah,
library Wi-Fi.
that was when I was using the VPN. I was at a lot of public spots that didn't provide great security.
Click watch live.
Oh, watch
I
live.
gotta train you, man. That would be interesting if you're able to get that.
So we're just come to the library to watch bad sci-fi.
And they played a commercial for Panama City, Florida, when I first connected, and it was really bad.
About
And
like,
there it is.
A little under $60 a year.
And it's choppy, just like that. But once you get off that, which takes about a minute, it was perfect.
That is a horrible commercial.
Oh man, it went off quick.
I think the library is getting angry. The library is
I think it tried to flip over to the stream.
Yeah, it
And they
did.
got-
Oh, there it is. We'll be right back. Of course, it may not like my ad blocker either. A couple of these free streaming things can detect that you have ad blocker installed
Mhm.
and won't play.
Ad blocker?
Yeah.
How does it detect there's an ad? I don't know.
You know, if I knew some of the answers to some of these problems, I would be a quadrillionaire.
Okay, they may have the porch block and try to stream it. Cause.
Yeah, but it's still good to know. I can watch this at home.
Yeah. There's some of those that are not too bad. They have some B pictures, which is a tremendous jump up to some of them. B pictures are a relief sometimes.
Stargate.
Yay, Stargate.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. Anybody got anything else?
Yeah,
Not at the moment.
Got anything for next week?
depends on how much more packing I get done.
Okay, that's right. You're gonna be tied up.
Yeah. So other people need projects. You need to do something with, bring Raspberry Pis in here and play around with Raspberry Pis.
yeah, I got a bunch of them.
We need some video monitoring software. Maybe I'll dig into that a little bit, because that would be helpful for me.
There's funny things about the video on Raspberry Pi. Sometimes you get the full 1020 by 1950 or whatever those numbers are. And sometimes it doesn't want to do that. It wants to chop it down a little bit.
That's right. You're not going to have a fantastic video driver on that thing, like a good accelerated one, a high-end one.
They use them to stream media all the time. So
Yeah. But, I mean, I've seen some that are really good and it looks good, and then I'm not sure of what the circumstances are when it
drops
not, when it doesn't. Yeah.
I have a conflict with my monitor. I got like a 24-inch monitor, and my laptop. I'm using my laptop as a video machine, and it's working fine. I did have trouble with, there was a conflict between sensing the lightness of the room, and it adjusts the brightness automatically, except there's something messed up with that. And once I turned the automatic darkening, changing the brightness of the screen, all my USB problems went away. So, don't know about that one, but it was interesting.
I don't even have a brief insight to that one. So.
Yeah. Those desktops or laptops have a brightness circuit built in, and the monitor has a brightness circuit. I assume they has a sensor in the display,
Yeah.
and they're not seem to be not compatible.